The night settles gently around the traveler, steady and familiar, as it has done many times before. Inside the quiet room, nothing appears different. The chair remains near the window. The lamp rests low. The walls hold the same silence they always have. Yet beneath this calm, something feels slightly uneven. Not urgent, not loud, just a quiet sense that the stillness no longer fits as smoothly as it once did, as if the night itself were leaning closer, waiting without pressure or demand. He moves slowly through the room, touching objects without intention or purpose. The edge of the table beneath his fingers, the wall that has always been there, the worn fabric of the chair, everything remains unchanged, yet his attention lingers longer than usual. The silence feels deeper tonight, pressing inward rather than outward. It carries a gentle tension, like air held softly in the chest, not uncomfortable, but impossible to dismiss completely. Outside the window, the night stretches wide and patient, holding its darkness without effort. The sky remains open and still. The air beyond the glass feels cool and steady. He stands near the door, listening to nothing in particular. The familiar comfort of remaining still offers no resistance, yet it no longer feels complete. Something within him has begun to lean forward, quietly, without fear, without urgency, and without explanation. He does not search for meaning in the feeling that rests within him. He allows it to exist without naming it. The body understands before the mind does. His breathing slows as he stands there, balanced between rest and motion. The room remains safe. The night remains calm. Yet staying where he is begins to feel heavier than before, as if stillness itself were asking, gently, to be released. The lamp is turned off without ceremony or pause. Darkness settles easily, softening every edge of the room. He reaches for his coat, not with intention, but with acceptance. The movement feels natural and unforced, simple, the kind of motion that requires no decision. The door opens quietly, and the night receives him without reaction, without judgment, and without any need to change its tone. Cool air touches his face, grounding him at once. The world outside feels larger, but not threatening or sharp. The path ahead is barely visible, shaped by shadow and faint light. He pauses at the threshold, standing between shelter and open space. The quiet follows him outward, but it no longer asks him to remain behind. It allows him to stand there without weight or expectation. The first step is small and almost unremarkable. His foot meets the ground, firm and steady. Nothing shifts around him. The night does not respond, yet something within him settles, as if a quiet alignment has begun. The body remembers how to move forward without certainty, without force, trusting the ground to remain beneath him as it always has. He walks slowly, allowing the rhythm of his steps to guide him. Each movement feels deliberate, yet unplanned. The road stretches ahead, calm and unhurried. Faint sounds drift through the air, distant and indistinct. The world remains vast, but it no longer feels far away. It moves with him gently, matching his pace without resistance or demand. The traveler does not look back. What lies behind remains unchanged and safe, held exactly as it was. What lies ahead does not demand explanation. The act of walking becomes enough. His shoulders ease, his breathing deepens. The quiet unease that once lingered begins to soften, dissolving into the steady motion of his steps and the rhythm of the night around him. The night holds him as he continues forward. Darkness no longer presses inward. It expands instead, creating space rather than closing in. Each step carries weight and balance. The ground supports him without effort. The road offers no promise, yet it does not resist. Movement itself becomes a form of rest, steady and grounding, without urgency or destination. Time loosens its shape as he walks. Moments stretch and settle without measure. He feels present without effort, alert without tension. The path remains open, not as an invitation, but as a continuation. Nothing needs to be decided. Nothing needs to be proven. The night allows him to move without demand, holding his pace gently. The quiet around him deepens, no longer empty, but full and steady. It feels like a companion walking alongside without words. His steps remain slow and even. The body knows where to place itself. The night remains unchanged, Yet something within him has found balance, settling gently into the rhythm of motion and breath. Gradually, his pace eases further. He allows himself to slow, not from hesitation, but from comfort. The movement has done its work. The unease has softened into something quieter and grounded. The road remains patient and open, holding no expectations, offering no resistance, and allowing him to remain exactly as he is. He remains where he is for a long while, letting the quiet gather around him. The night does not rush him. It allows him to stand, to breathe, to feel the simple balance of weight and air. His coat rests lightly on his shoulders. His feet feel steady against the ground. Nothing moves quickly. The path nearby stays open without insistence. In the distance, darkness blends with land and sky, smoothing every edge. The moment feels wide and gentle, holding him without asking anything in return. A faint breeze passes across his face and then fades again. He notices how easily his body responds, how his breathing remains slow and even without effort. The unease that once pressed softly in his chest has changed its shape. It no longer feels restless. It feels settled, like a thought that has found its place without being spoken. The night remains unchanged, yet something within him feels more aligned. The road nearby does not call to him. It simply exists, patient and calm. Time stretches without direction as he stands there. Moments pass without measure, blending together like slow breaths. He becomes aware of small details, the way the air cools his hands, the faint scent of earth beneath the quiet. His shoulders rest lower now. His jaw feels loose. The world no longer feels like something to move through, but something to stand within. The night accepts this stillness easily, holding it the same way it held his steps earlier, without distinction or preference. Eventually, he shifts his weight slightly, not to leave, but to remain comfortable. The motion is small and natural. The ground responds with steady support. He feels the balance of his body, centered and calm. The path remains close, visible enough to know it is there. The open space around him feels safe and quiet. Nothing needs to be decided. Nothing needs to be followed. The simple act of standing becomes enough, and the night continues to hold him in this unhurried pause. A sense of quiet continuity settles in. The movement that brought him here lingers softly, like warmth after walking on a cold road. He does not think about where he came from or where he might go next. Those ideas feel distant and unimportant. What remains is the calm in his chest and the steady ground beneath his feet. The night surrounds him evenly, without shadows that feel sharp or threatening. Everything feels softened, smoothed by darkness and time. He listens to the silence without effort. It does not feel empty. It feels layered, full of distant sounds that rise and fade without meaning. Somewhere far away, something shifts and then becomes still again. He notices, then lets it go. His breathing remains slow. The quiet no longer presses inward. It expands outward, creating space inside him as well. The world feels balanced now, neither pulling him forward nor asking him to stay. It simply exists around him, steady and complete. After a while, he takes a small step forward, not because he must, but because movement feels natural again. His foot meets the ground with familiar firmness. The path accepts him without change. He walks only a short distance, then slows, letting the rhythm settle once more. The night feels the same with each step, calm and wide. He notices how easily he moves now, how the weight of his body feels aligned. Walking no longer carries tension. It feels like an extension of rest. He continues at an easy pace, slow enough to notice the softness of the air as it moves past him. The road curves gently, revealing nothing new, only more quiet space. Darkness remains kind, hiding details without removing safety. His thoughts stay light, drifting in and out without weight. The night does not change its tone. It remains steady and even, allowing him to move through it without urgency. Each step feels grounded and unremarkable, in the best possible way. Gradually, he slows again and comes to a gentle stop beside the path. His body responds immediately, finding balance without thought. The air feels cool but comfortable. Silence wraps around him evenly. He feels no need to hurry, no need to reach anything. The night feels complete as it is. The road remains nearby, open and patient, but it no longer defines the moment. Stillness returns, gentle and unforced, settling around him like a familiar presence. A deep sense of calm spreads through him, starting in his chest and moving outward. His hands feel warm inside his sleeves. His shoulders remain relaxed. The unease that once lingered feels distant now, almost forgotten. The night continues without interruption. Clouds drift slowly overhead, barely changing the light. The world feels wide, yet close enough to touch. He remains present within it, steady and supported, as if the quiet itself were carrying him. He breathes in slowly, then lets the air leave just as gently. The rhythm feels natural and unforced. Nothing pulls at his attention. Nothing asks for effort. The night holds its shape, calm and unbroken. He notices how his body feels heavier in a comforting way, settled and grounded. The moment does not move forward. It simply deepens, becoming softer and more complete with each breath, as if the world itself were slowing to match him. Time continues to pass without direction. He remains where he is, content within the quiet. The path stays open, yet it no longer defines his focus. The open space around him feels like a resting place, rather than a pause. The air remains cool and steady. Darkness remains gentle. His presence fits here easily now, without adjustment or resistance, as if this moment has been waiting quietly for him to arrive and settle into it. A sense of inner steadiness settles fully, not as a thought, but as a feeling that lives in his posture and breath. He feels supported by the ground and held by the night. There is no rush to move, no reason to remain. Both feel equally calm. The road nearby exists without calling. Stillness feels rich and complete. Everything rests together without separation, without effort, balanced in a quiet harmony that asks nothing more of him. He shifts slightly, adjusting his stance, and feels the ease of the movement. The night responds by remaining exactly the same. Air continues to rest against his skin. Quiet remains wide and even. His thoughts feel distant now, like clouds that have drifted beyond sight. What remains is presence, simple and grounded. The world feels balanced around him, holding no demands and offering no resistance, allowing him to stay exactly as he is. Darkness deepens almost imperceptibly. Shadows soften further. The path blends gently into the surrounding land. He remains aware without effort, alert without tension. His breathing continues in a slow and steady rhythm. The moment feels complete, as if nothing more could be added without breaking its calm. The night accepts this fullness, easily holding it, without change, without comment, and without any need to move it forward. He allows his weight to settle fully into the ground beneath him. His body feels aligned and at ease. The air feels clean and cool as it moves in and out. Silence feels kind, like a familiar presence that asks nothing. The world remains wide and open. He stands within it quietly, grounded by the simple fact of being here, breathing, supported by the calm that surrounds him on all sides. Movement and stillness no longer feel separate. They blend together in a calm balance. He feels capable of walking and equally capable of resting. Neither carries urgency. The night does not distinguish between the two. It holds both with steady patience. The path nearby remains open, but it no longer defines the moment. What matters is the calm that has settled fully within him, steady and unchanging. He remains beneath the night sky, breathing evenly. The air stays cool and gentle. Darkness stays open and wide. The ground remains firm beneath his feet. Nothing changes, and nothing needs to. The world feels settled now, as if it has found its natural rhythm again. He stands quietly within it, supported and calm, allowing the stillness to continue without effort or expectation. Quiet deepens into something restful. His body feels heavy in the best way, relaxed and grounded. His breathing stays slow and smooth. The night continues without interruption. No sound rises sharply. No movement demands attention. Everything feels softened, as if wrapped in a layer of calm that dulls nothing but sharp edges. The moment feels safe, steady, and complete, holding him gently where he stands. He feels no need to think ahead. The moment holds him completely. The path remains. The open space remains. The night remains. All of it exists together without tension. His presence fits easily within it now. The unease that once stirred feels fully settled, absorbed into the quiet around him. What remains is a calm awareness, steady and unbroken, resting gently in the silence. A deep sense of rest settles in. Not sleep, but something close to it. A calm that carries no weight. The night feels steady and reliable. The world remains unchanged, yet it feels gentler now. He stands quietly, allowing the calm to spread through him, from his chest to his shoulders, from his hands to his feet, until everything feels held and at ease. Time moves on without marking itself. The traveler remains present, grounded, and calm. The air stays cool. The ground stays firm. Darkness stays wide. Nothing presses inward. Nothing pulls away. The moment feels whole, complete without needing resolution or explanation. He remains there, steady and relaxed, letting the quiet continue in its own slow rhythm. He stands beneath the night sky, breathing slowly. Movement has already brought him where he needs to be tonight. The world holds its silence. The path lies nearby, patient and open. Nothing needs to happen now. The night continues, wide and unbroken, carrying everything forward with gentle ease, calm, rest, and a quiet that naturally settles into sleep.